Okay. So in our example here, if we have this cube, we want to roll it, and we want to know what is the probability of getting a 4. So we think about what are the different possible outcomes we could get.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay?
Was that the 6? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
all cubes pretty much the same. How many favorable outcomes are there?
6.
1.
If we want to roll a 4, how many 4s are there?
1.
So there's one favorable outcome out of 6.
That's the answer?
So the probability of rolling a 4 is just 1 out of 6.
That's pretty simple.
Yes, John, I know.
Unless you don't know what you're rolling on.
Which means that if we were to roll this 6 times, we should get a 4 just once.
Read your smartboard talks.
Always laughing if it doesn't.
You should make it speak Spanish.
I got 5
Or
again.
Asian.
Is that Spanish?
6 times.
It only goes to 2, 5, and 6. Tres.
Eventually.
No. Tres.
It's not gonna go to 4.
Dos. I hope you get an 8.
Guys, listen to it. Listen to it.
No, no, no.
Come on, let's get an 8.
Oh my god.
It's in here somewhere.
Why is it Spanish?
Ah, this was the.
Why is it in Spanish?
Why not?
Why not?
That's good.
Okay, there's a 4 on here.
It's being stubborn.
Isn't it going through the whole thing?
Let me try it. I bet money I'll get a
Keep
4.
going, Michelle. Keep going.
Good talking in
Hey, look at it. There we go.
Hey, boy.
Wait, I want to try.
Oh! Okay, so about 1 out of every 6 times.
That was 6 times.
That was like 20 times.
Spanish.
Where'd you find
That
that?
was really funny.
Tres,
Okay,
cinco.
so onto the paper we gave you. On the side it says 10-1. We're going to find the probability of some stuff. Hopefully you weren't learning Spanish from that since it's just the numbers from 1 through 6. Okay, then you didn't learn anything. So what makes this problem here a little bit difficult is what?
With the letters, I don't know.
What about the letters?
Oh, that chart is just not even equal.
Okay, they're not equal spaces. So what can we do with these big sections?
Oh, divide.
Divide them into
Half.
and do thirds.
Thirds.
So what letter would we put on these two pieces here?
A.
C.
Why would you put C?
Because B is the coolest
If
letter. It was like even
okay,
Oh, BB.
Oh
Oh.
my God,
your family.
What are you gonna say?
So A and A. Do the same thing down the bottom and then try to answer. So if we split this up into 3 pieces the same way, no, if the whole section was a B, that means if we split into little pieces, they're still B's. Okay.
You haven't done that in a while.
Well, that's because people learn to stop asking that question.
Is that why there's a sub it's cold in here?
That's right. All right. I don't need to hear that from anybody unless you want to go talk to Miss Jackson about some bully reports we got to fill out, okay?
You can.
It's It's easier to just go right to the source, so
Oh my gosh,
we can
we're
get
recording.
right to the suspensions. So the probability of getting an A, you look at, we're broken up into even pieces now. How many of those pieces have an A on them? 4 out of 12. So 4/12. Can we simplify that? We can divide it by 4.
2 and 6.
1/3.
Oh yeah, 1/3.
So the answer's 1/3.
So our probability of getting an A is 1/3. If we look at the opposite of that, what is the probability of not getting an A?
It's 1/4. 2/3.
So how many of our spaces do not have an A on them? Is 8, which does simplify to 2/3.
Oh, that are naughty.
Okay, so now we look. We're saying if we count up how many spaces don't have an A on them, how many are there? 8. That's where that came from.
All you have to do is add
Okay.
12 minus 4.
Okay. We can also look at this. Is there any way this can land where it won't either be A or something that's not A?
Well, what if it lands in the middle line? Does that count?
No. Spin again.
John, you don't need to ask such dumb questions.
Is there any other possible answer?
No.
No. Okay. So when we add up 1/3 plus 2/3, what does that add up to? 3/3 or 1 whole, which is what is a percent? 100%. So anytime you're doing probability, the probability of something happening plus probability of that event not happening always has to add up to 100%.
Like during, no.
Do you, are you asking where I got it from or where do you put it? Probably in your notes. Okay? So another way we can do this, what Sasha was saying, we could have gotten 8/12 by saying if we took all 12 spaces and we subtracted the ones that had an A on it, 12 minus 4 gives you 8. Okay?
My name was suspension.
Great. All right, we can do the same thing for B. So how many spots have a B on them?
5.
Oh.
5.
So there are 5 out of how many?
12.
12.
5.
So if there are 5 spots that have a B, how many do not have a B? That would have to be
12.
7 out of 12.
No, I didn't say
Yes.
that. Just kidding.
Is that a 7?
Yes. Because 5/12 plus 7/12 does add up to.
No, because
12/12. Yeah, but I said it was 7, so deal with it.
Attitude from your teacher, sir.
The less we get done together, the more you take home tonight. Okay? So the probability of getting a C,
3.
3
Divided by 3.
divided by 3.
1/4.
So if there's a 1/4 chance of getting a C, what's the chance of not getting a C? 3/4. Okay? What else should be true here? If we look at the probability of A, B, and C, what should these add up to? Why is that?
Because
12.
a
Because
circle is a
5
hole.
plus 4 plus 3 is 12, and 12 divided by 12 is 1.
Okay, but why is that? Why is that equal to 100%?
That's entirely.
Because is there anything else you can get besides A, B, or C?
No.
No, so this should add up to 100%.
Get the line.
Yes. No.
That's what I said.
Okay, assume all the lines are part of A, B, or C. Then.
Oh, okay.
But then you spin it, the spinning thingy.
Deal with it.
What if the spinner comes
Imagine it's like Wheel of Fortune and it has the little
Oh, that's
dividers
And
to
you
keep
can always
you.
get bankrupt every time you're doing good.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Couple easy ones just to show you different ways you can word it. If it says the odds in favor of you winning the game are 5 to 9, how would we write that as a fraction?
5 over 9.
That's just 5.
5 over 9.
5 over 9. So then what would be the probability of not winning the game?
9 over
4 over 9.
Is 4 over,
Yeah.
good job. How do you know that?
because it tells us that our,
This is so easy.
the chances are 5 to 9.
So I already gave you the
So we
answer.
just
It-
minus 1.
It's just
Totally.
being able to recognize that if we write it like this is the same as writing it as a fraction.
And a decimal.
How'd you
And-
get not winning?
I think.
Well,
Never mind, I added it.
yeah.
Plus 4 equals.
Okay.
I didn't ask you.
All right. One thing, hey, one thing to consider here.
Okay.
You should send John outside. That's fine, like brothers and sisters.
Is the difference in what it's asking you here. Hey, when we talk about not winning, is that the same as the probability of losing? Are those the same thing? Probability of losing and probability of not winning.
No, actually,
One you're losing and one you're winning.
you don't win. If
If you're not a winner, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Is this, would this add up to 100% always?
No.
Yeah.
What? Actually, yes.
These are two separate ideas. Okay? Because are there other outcomes besides winning and losing? You could get a tie. What else?
You can forfeit. Oh no, then you lose.
Injury on the field. You can have a juice.
Everybody like dies.
You can get interference.
Yes. All players can die in this thing.
Yeah, both players could die. I was thinking more along the lines of if it rains and the game gets canceled.
Oh no.
Okay.
That never crossed
So-
my mind.
What game are we talking about here?
It doesn't matter.
Indoor.
So, all of these. All right. Hey.
Somebody drowned.
Hey.
Football.
All right now. So all of these crazy examples we've given, would those fall into the category of losing?
No.
Not necessarily. Would they fall into the category of not winning?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dying would make you.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I think dying would make you look.
Dying is not the same as.
That would be rude.
No, see, that's the misconception. We talk about probability.
Misconception.
That's not the case. You're either winning or you're not winning.
If you ain't first,
That's.
And that's losing.
No.
We've been on this question too long.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So when we talk about the opposite of something in probability,
parentheses dying.
you don't put something different. You just put the probability of it not happening. Okay? To show you that there were different ideas.
Next question.
Okay?
Scratch it out and just put not winning.
No, you don't
Oh,
have,
I
you don't
can
have
write it
to.
down.
I don't know. I was going to say something very smart until I lost my train of thought.
Okay. If it
First
comes
time that you did say
if it comes back to you.
I understand.
Okay, I'll
You're
bring it
so
up.
smart.
All right, next section.
What a great person.
Here's a problem they always give you, so it's good to know how to do. We have a bag of marbles. We've got 10, 12, 15, and 8. Find the probability of this stuff happening. So if you get a problem like this, what should be the very first thing you do?
Add them all up.
Add them all up, and that gives you
56.
not 56.
17, 39,
27.
48,
Are you just guessing?
Yeah.
47.
10 out of 45.
Nothing. So we can go through a couple of these together. So if we say probability of red, how many reds are there?
10 out of 45.
10 out of 45 divided by 5. Oh, math again.
So it is 10 out of 45, which we can simplify
5, 5.
by 5, and that gives us
2, 9.
2 ninths. Okay, number 11. What are the odds in favor of picking a blue marble?
12:45.
This is just a fancy way of saying what is the probability of getting a blue.
That's unnecessary.
So there are 12 blue out of 45. We could divide that by
12.
3,
Oh.
and that gives us 4
15.
15ths. That's it.
So, for number 10, it's 4 15.
Don't tell anyone that because a lot of people don't recognize it because, I don't know.
That wasn't very secret.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even still, people aren't paying attention anyway. Okay.
Ricky, it's our...
So 13, what's the probability of picking a marble that's not yellow? So we would say this is the probability of what?
Yellow.
Not yellow.
Not yellow. So there's two ways you could figure out how many are not yellow.
Add them all up, but it's not the yellow.
You could-
No, minus 15.
You could add up everything that's not a yellow, or you could subtract the total minus what is yellow. Either way, you get, okay, relax. Yes, you're adding and subtracting like a pro. So that would be 30 out of how many? 45.
Can we simplify?
We can simplify that by 5 or by what?
5.
Not 6.
7.
Stop guessing.
10. 5.
15.
By 15.
That's too big.
Because 30 divided by 15 is just
2.
2. 45 divided by 15 is 3.
I guessed on the last one, but you didn't know I was.
Wait, Mr. Ellis.
Okay, take about 2 minutes. Try 10, 12, and 14.
Won't that be the same thing?
See, I told you they weren't listening.
What are you talking about? So is that a yes or is that a no?
Yes. Thank you for waiting.
Stop fighting, children.
Can we do it out here?
No?
It looks like a shock collar.
John, stop.
Super. It's running out of patience. That's my warning light.
Mr. Gunn. Hello?
That's a 2-minute warning light.
Mr. Ellis is wrong.
No, you can do some work though. That'd be nice. Remember when you asked me like 10 seconds ago and I said no? I'm going to stick with that answer.
Mr. Ellis, I got told me you weren't.
Wait, don't start it. It's still on my head.
Ah, that's adorable. I'm done. I don't get what I want.
What? It was funny because it was kind of funny.
Shut up. Oh, that's mean. You're mean. You threw my papers on the floor.
Aw.
You threw my papers on the floor?
You're killing trees.
But I picked it up. Or I had you pick it up. Okay.
I didn't handle being a teacher. It's not on.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
So probability of a blue. Hopefully you didn't have to work.
45.
415.
Hopefully you didn't work that hard since we did it already.
And I said it.
33 over 45.
More
How would you
pity.
get that?
The odds of getting a green. So really, this is just saying what's the probability of picking a green
8 out of 45.
is just 8 over 45.
If it's over, shouldn't you put the slash under the...
Do what now?
And then number 14 is.
And then 14.
7-9. 7-9.
Okay. Two ways we could have gotten that answer. You could have gone through all the trouble of counting up all the ones that aren't red and then simplifying. Or we could have looked at if it was a 2/9 chance that it would be red,
It's 7 9.
that means there's got to be 7/9 of a chance that it won't be.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Thank you for making me
I
feel like
tried
not smart.
doing it, but I was still number 10.
Retarded word. Ow.
Kind of had that coming.
Sue me.
What?
What? You just assaulted me.
You're calling her name.
Buy a
Yeah.
ticket for the weekly.
I'll report you both for being bullies. All right, you buy a ticket for the weekly drawing. Last week you bought one ticket. What is the probability you're going to win? So how many favorable outcomes are there?
1,200.
Just one.
1
Out of,
1,200.
so what are your odds?
1 out of 1,200.
1 out of 1,200. Okay.
Can we simplify that?
No.
Get your notes from your friend because she should have wrote them down at the very beginning.
Or like
What? Not right now.
3 out of
Okay.
1,200.
Yeah, he's recording.
If instead of just buying one, if you bought three,
3
your,
out of
We
3 out of 1,200.
your odds would improve to 3 out of 1,200. Could we simplify that?
No.
3.
Yes.
By 3.
By 3. And that'll give us 1 over 400.
400.
Okay? So to give you an idea, your odds of winning raffles, usually not good.
what if you buy a lot of raffles?
My friend.
Then you probably spend as much money to match what you
What
would have
the
won in the
prize
first
would
place.
be.
That's like when people saying, so I could win the lottery if I just bought like 1 million lottery tickets. But if you spend $1 million,
You win like
And you won $1 million.
So you make profit of 4 million.
okay, but here's the thing. If there are 45
That's the answer for number
million possible answers, and you only buy 1 million tickets,
But still.
that's still a 1 in 45 chance you're going to win.
44 million
So
tickets left.
for every one time you win, there's 44 times when you would just lose $1 million in lottery tickets.
So if you bought 45 million tickets, you'd win for sure.
We would have the money.
Potentially. But if you had $45 million just sitting around to spend on lottery tickets, you probably didn't need to play the lottery.
Next question.
If you had that much money, why would you buy those tickets?
All right.
Oh, Mr. I thought you were going to skip it all the way down to Swiss cheese.
Okay.
Go to slide number 7.
If we have time at the end, we will, but we wasted a lot of time talking about the lottery. I don't know whose idea that was. Okay.
Just kidding, I think it was mine.
Okay. The first 3 on the back, it starts out pretty easy. It's 3 out of 6, which is 1/2. The probability of getting a red is 2/6, which is 1/3. And then the probability of getting an orange, 1/6, because there's 6 sides. All right, that's the easy part. For 4 through 7, you're going to use these numbers plus one of our very oldest math friends. Not Tebow. Well,
Godzilla.
a little bit.
Dr. Pepper.
The Cowboys are the thing.
So,
The Cowboys go
all right.
to
Jeez, I'm sorry I even say stuff like that because then you spend the next 10 minutes just guessing.
Oh, I was trying to see what you could.
Well, who is it?
So, we're going to find out here in a second. Yes,
Jonah.
feel the excitement. It's building up.
It's gonna be like.
Okay, so if we're comparing, we want to know how many times it's going to end up red if we toss it 600 times. So really we're comparing times it comes up red compared to
600 times.
number of
Who would bother
tosses.
trying
We wouldn't, but with enough math we can figure out how many times without having to do it. So what is the ratio it tells us for red?
1/3.
Is 1/3. So you're going to get one red for about every 3 tosses.
Ratio's our old friend.
No.
Thank God.
And you want to know how many reds out of 600. And now we've made a happy little proportion. Everyone's best math friend.
So that's our friend.
Yes.
Proportion.
Yes.
Cross
All that are
multiplying.
in
Yes.
600. I mean,
I was
1/3.
a
I mean,
big fan of
no.
proportion.
No.
Yeah, 200.
So we cross multiply
600.
600 divided by 3, and like Jasmine said,
It's 200.
It's 2,000. I like what that magical voice is.
so
Get it back.
if you toss it 600 times, you would expect to get red about 200.
So that's the answer.
That's the answer number 4.
So that wasn't.
Clearly.
Clearly, yeah. I don't really wasn't considering.
I
It was
get it.
That's like when John sits in the back and be like, that's someone else who was calling you a racist. Number 5,
You think racism is funny?
same idea.
I know.
Okay, Sergio.
Racism is not hilarious.
Okay, Sergio. Nobody said it
So nobody
was.
cares.
Get that back.
I know.
So,
What half?
1/2. And what do we want to know?
86.
How many out of 144?
12.
99.
I taught you guys math.
You did.
144 divided by 2.
It's the 60.
Because when you say 144 divided by 2 is 90, it's like, I'm not going to admit to ever taught you something.
Hey, Mr. Ellis, 25 years ago, were you a baby?
No.
You weren't?
25 years ago, I was this age.
No, but scratch.
Seriously. Okay, try number 6 and 7. Okay, 6 will give you a decimal, 7's a whole number. Round everything to a whole number. Do your work. That's it. Okay? Ricky. Okay.
But that was kind of racial.
I wanted to look at the next section here because a lot of people won't get this right until someone explains it to them.
Thank you.
So, listen, enjoy. Okay. Want to know, they asked 300 kids how they got to school, and 160 of them said they took the bus. So we can write that as a ratio here of bus kids to total kids. So we get 160 out of how many? Out of 300.
Yeah, that's right.
But then, what we want to know is if this survey holds true, how many kids would ride the bus out of 800 kids? So what would we put on the other side?
800 on the top, bottom. That's all.
Is it 800 bus kids or 800 total kids?
Bus kids. Total.
Total.
You're saying
So
buzzkill.
X.
Okay. Now you could cross multiply that, and that would probably be a huge hassle.
Alright, well,
So can we simplify 160 over 300? What can we do first?
By 10.
By 10, so we can cross out the 0. Can we simplify 16 over 30?
Yeah.
What's that the same as?
By 3. 22.
That'd be 8 over...
Oh,
22. Oh Miss Johnson's doing
15.
15. I got 128,000.
30 divided by 2 is
Miss
15.
Johnson, the pressure was still building from that last question. You told us to keep the pressure building from.
I think he meant excitement.
800 is the number they care about. So you can cross multiply this. I'll do the multiplying for you since I'm a pal.
Is that a snail?
8 times 800 is 6,400. No, it's not.
It's balloons.
It's a tiger inside a shoe.
Nuh-uh. Make it bigger.
We simplified 16 over 30 by 2. So 16 divided by 2 is 8.
I believe it. I believe
What
it.
is that like tattoo thing?
See, nobody listens.
It's a tiger and a shoe.
That's not a tiger in a shoe, that's impossible.
You're impossible.
You're impossible.
I could like answer a question and then be like, I'll give 500 to anyone who doesn't repeat this question.
Can somebody
And we'll still get people to be like, wait, what happened?
I heard 500.
How do I get 500s? Is that like 1 500 or 5 500s or 5 100s?
I don't think it's
Or 100 5s?
I think this is the most entertaining video.
Shush!
Kinda, no.
Kind of.
Oh, I mean really bad.
I don't think death is funny.
It isn't.
Charlie
I'm
Sheen.
not
Charlie
like
Sheen
what
says
death
death
is cool.
Sarah, shut up.
Alright. So 6,400 divided by 15 does work out to 4.
26.
And that's why I wrote it. So 426. Actually, this works out to 426.6, but we're going to round it because to make this next part easier. Now, you could make proportions for all of these, and that would probably be a lot of fun.
Oh, please.
Or you could look at what is this ratio between 160 and 80? Half as much. So what would we do with this number over here? What's half of 426?
213. 213. Good job, John.
And there you go.
Johnny's spit.
Okay? Could we do?
Stop looking at the
All right. Shh. How does the car relate to the kids who walk? Half it again. About 106. How about the kids who take a bike? Is half again? 50.
Oh, close. Guessing gets you somewhere. I got the 50 part.
Okay, please stop guessing when you're dividing by 2. Because it's always, because it just keeps being half as much.
Miss Jones, can we go over number 6 and 7 from the top one?
No?
Yeah, let's go on.
All right, if we can get there, we have 5 minutes, and Nathan needs to stop doing that. Okay? So, a certain shoe manufacturer, put in your name of choice there. All right. So, they look at 250 pairs of shoes, they find 41 that are bad. So how could we write that as a ratio?
41 over 250.
So we always put our key first, because we're not animals. We're going
Shoe that doesn't work. It's like the Dacre shoes from iCarly, or like, you,
All right.
you can roast
Hey,
weenies.
TV talk. No, you're not. You're talking to Marco. So we have 41 defective shoes out of...
6,000. 250. 250, yeah.
Also, if anyone missed that, that's Lindsay talking to Marco. Start the rumors now. Okay. So, if 41 out of 250 are bad, we want to know how many are bad out of 6,000. So, you can cross multiply, or you can look at what you need to multiply 250 by to get 6,000.
5.
Stop guessing.
2.
Okay, do that on your own.
Oh, man.
Okay.
That's not even as cool as I thought it would be.
So,
Sounds like you made that.
Mr. Officer, you're the one that
We did that picture.
So, all right. So for the people asking, how can a shoe be defective? Well, clearly that out of the 250, you had 41 shoes that were infested by tiny tigers.
It's a liger. It's a liger.
And in case you missed it, a tiger sounds like... Hold on. Need more. This might be a little loud. So shout outs to the people who are working. So Gabby and Maddie and new Jasmine and Chris and Eddie and Heather and sometimes old Jasmine and new girl Alyssa and Gavin and Cody and Destiny and Roland and Brooke and Cassandra and Brennan. Because you were talking to Marco